Night of the Seven Kingdoms, Season 1, Episode 6, is called The Morrow, which means tomorrow, the future, the next day, and that's what this episode deals with. It's very much about the fallout from Episode 5, from Baelor's death. In the books, there's only about 6 pages left after the end of the Trial of Seven, so there's a significant amount of extra material here. Most of this is a faithful adaptation in spirit. The only thing I didn't really like was the very end of the episode, which I thought was a massive recontextualization of the Egg and Dunk relationship. I think it really changes things between them in a way that I wasn't really a fan of. Will I be watching season 2? Absolutely. It's been a fantastic season. I'm just a bit concerned, is that the same in the books as well? Because for me, that's a huge difference in the relationship between Duncan and his squire, but I'll get round to that when it appears in the episode. We start off at Dunk's camp, and he's visited by Lyonel Baratheon and his maester. Dunk is looking somewhat catatonic, and Lyonel offers to bring him to Storm's End. They'll go hunting, they'll go hawking, they'll even visit Tarth. Nice little nod to the future there. Dunk is still very cut up about Baelor's death, but Lyonel doesn't really care. He's got some really nasty words for the Targaryens. The only good dragon is a dead dragon. You'll see that one day. Done the realm a kindness. The gods don't favour a fraud. We've seen this kind of attitude from the Fossaways as well, and it suggests that the Targaryens have real problems in terms of keeping in power in Westeros. Dunk promises that he will consider Lyonel's offer. I also really liked the maester here and Lyonel's attitude towards him. Why, though, would the Citadel send Storm's End such a terrible maester? Following the chat with Lyonel, they head to the funeral. Maekar is there, and Egg, and Valar, Baelor's son, and we see his wife as well. Baelor's body is being burnt, but there's no dragon to do that, obviously. There's also a septon, I think the same one which was present at the trial, giving all the titles that Baelor had, just to emphasise how bad this is for the family. Afterwards, Dunk has a quick chat with Valar, Baelor's son. Valar points out that Baelor was still young. He might have been the best king since Aegon the Conqueror, but the gods decided that he should die and Duncan should live. It's something that confuses both of them. The Trial of Seven has marked the end of the tournament, and as Duncan leaves, we can see that everyone else is packing up to go back home. He bumps into Raymond Fossaway, and we see Raymond's new shield. He has a green apple, where it used to be red. He also seems to have a wife, and apparently a child. This is Rowan, one of the 2 ladies of the night that was previously with Lord Dondarrion. There was a quick shot last episode of Rowan cheering on Dunk and his team, so presumably she's fallen out with Lord Dondarrion and decided to hitch her wagon to Raymond instead. Raymond is happy that he's beat his cousin, but I'm not really convinced by the plot point that she is suddenly pregnant with his child. Okay, Raymond might still be young, he might not be ready to be a knight, but surely he's grown up around maesters and he doesn't think that he can get someone pregnant in literally just one night. This is the only kind of point in 6 episodes where I was kind of looking at the screen and going, really? I know it's supposed to be kind of comedy, but really, are we going to go with a pregnant lady of the night? Okay, fine. Let's move on. Then Dunk gets summoned to see Maekar, and they discuss who's to blame for Baelor's death. Is it Maekar who swung the mace, or Dunk that Baelor fought for? I really enjoyed Maekar's acting performance here. There was a bit more emotion, a bit more subtlety, some regret, but also much of the contempt that he showed in previous episodes. It's like he's not the younger brother anymore. He's been forced into taking charge, and he seems to have some experience of that. He seems a bit more human than he did in previous episodes, even if he's still basically an arse. His offer to Duncan is that Egg will be Duncan's squire, and Duncan will go and live at Summerhall and complete his own training there. Dunk turns him down and says he's sick of princes, essentially. Next, we see this episode's flashback. It's Ser Arlan and an adult Dunk as he is during the story. Here we learn a couple of things. Firstly, the story of the Pennytree. People in Arlan's village, when they go to war, they bash a penny into the tree and they take it back down if they come back from the war, which they quite often don't. But secondly, we find out Duncan is not really a knight. This is kind of suggested in the books, but stated clearly here. And Duncan is asking Ser Arlan why. Why didn't Ser Arlan ever knight him? So, assuming this is the same in TV show and books, I think this is more confirming than surprising, I think. Back in the present day, we go to another funeral, this time for Lord Beesbury, and there's loads of bees around the coffin, which is achieved not through magic, as Raymond suggests, but by putting the queen bee inside the coffin with the corpse, which is pretty wild. That's kind of a bit more wild than even being burnt by a dragon, I guess. I like how we're in the Reach and we've got a couple of agricultural houses. So we've got the Fossleways and their cider, and then the Beesbury and their bees. As a side note, in this scene, there was a little bit more Targaryen chat. So there's a couple of girls playing on the floor, and one of them asks, "Do you yield, dragon whore?" I think this is noticeable because it's interesting that even the children are at the point where they feel comfortable mocking the Targaryens openly, if not to their face. Another person present at Beesbury's funeral is Prince Daeron. Dunk confronts him and says he has no shame for being here. It is kind of Daeron's fault that Lord Beesbury is dead, that Baelor is dead as well, because Daeron said the easy thing at the moment. He said that Dunk took Egg hostage, when by the end of this episode it looks like Egg is the one that's actually taken Dunk hostage, I think. Daeron has some interesting stuff to say, gives Dunk a new idea. He talks about Aerion and what he was like as a child and how he was much more fun. He enjoyed fishing, for example. He was a nice person, Aerion, when he was younger. And Daeron basically suggests that Dunk should take Egg as his squire. He should do this so that he can take him away from the influence of the family. Then we see Egg at the castle. He picks up a knife and he goes to see Aerion and presumably use the knife on Aerion. But Maekar is there, and Maekar seems to understand that Egg is angry. It's a bit of a weird reaction. Maekar is very quick normally to get angry about things, but all he does is put his hands on Egg's shoulder, and Egg drops the knife. So I guess that saves Aerion for the moment at least. And then he finds out that Dunk has returned to the castle, and Dunk gives him a new offer. He says, "I'll take Egg on the road. I'm not going to Summerhall. He might be better served away from castles." This is basically what Daeron suggested. This is Daeron's idea. Get Egg away from the family. And Maekar notices this as well. And Maekar says, "He's my last son," in quite a pained sort of manner. I really like this. Literally, as a fact, Aegon is Maekar's youngest son. You might also interpret this as Aegon is his last hope, because Daeron is clearly a useless drunk. Aerion is a monster. Aemon is so useless he's going to be a maester. Useless in Maekar's terms, anyway. So Aegon is the youngest son. He's also maybe the only hope for a good son as well, for a good man to emerge. Then we get one more scene between Dunk and Raymond. So Raymond buys Sweetfoot, the horse that Dunk sold a few episodes ago to get some armor. Dunk decides to give him Sweetfoot instead. I guess give Sweetfoot a nice retirement, perhaps. So Raymond is going to start an orchard. He's going to go into the family business. He's going to set up a new branch of his house. So Sweetfoot, at least, gets a happy ending. And then we get to the final scene of the series. To honour Ser Arlan, Dunk puts a penny into one of the trees by his camp, And then Egg arrives and announces his father has ordered him to serve Ser Duncan, and Duncan gives them some instructions and they ride off together. And Egg decides that they should go to Dorne because he's never been to Dorne. This is different from the books. In the books, it's Dunk's decision to go to Dorne because that's where Tanselle has gone, and Dunk obviously quite likes Tanselle. So Dunk gets that agency taken away from him in this episode. They also talk about the Seven Kingdoms and how there are actually 9 kingdoms, there are not 7. So again, Egg establishes his dominance over Dunk, establishes that he's cleverer. And after they ride off together, we get another short scene, completely invented, perhaps George R.R. Martin's scene, I don't know. We see the Targaryens, so Maekar and Aerion and Daeron and all their soldiers and all their attendants are leaving Ashford, presumably going back to Summerhall or to King's Landing. Maekar realises that Aegon is missing. Aegon should be in the train. He should be with his family still. So basically, he's lied to Dunk. He's deceived him. His father did not order Egg to go and squire for Duncan. Egg just disappeared. I don't like this so much because it makes Egg just another manipulative Targaryen. It proves Lyonel Baratheon right. It makes me like the character less. So Maekar describes Egg as willful, as a handful, and this kind of just proves what Maekar says, what Lyonel says. I wonder how long this deception can last. Presumably, Maekar will be sending out troops straight away to look for them. He doesn't even need to say who they're looking for. They're looking for one extremely tall knight and one small, bold child. How long will they be able to get away for? Realistically, will they be able to get across the Red Mountains and into Dorne without Maekar capturing them? Overall, I really liked the episode. I really liked the extra material. But for me, it introduced an element of deceit into Dunk and Egg's relationship that wasn't quite there in the same way before. I mean, obviously, Egg didn't reveal who he was earlier in the season, but then that all came out and they kind of had an opportunity to reset. And then Egg doesn't reset, he just doubles down into more deceit. So I wasn't crazy about that, but overall, I liked the episode and I've liked the season. Thanks very much.